I have gotten scammed before too for $350 because I didn't really know much about OfferUp. At least now I know what to look for. They were told to pay through Zelle. I went ahead and paid him through Zelle. Oh, not Zelle again. Spent $2,000. Didn't realize it was coming from Russia. For some reason it said US. The person switched, waited 6 months, and got rocks in the mail. Big L's. A little while back, I made a video where I went through obvious graphics card scam ads on platforms like Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, and Mercari, and I even contacted some of those listings to see how far I could get some of those scammers to go. If you haven't seen that video yet, be sure to check it out. I'll have it linked in the cards and in the description. But at the end of that video, I asked the viewers if they have ever fallen for one of these types of scams before, and if so, how or why did they fall for it? Like, what was so convincing about it? I got a lot of responses in that video, probably more than I could probably cover in this one, just to keep this video down to watchable length. But in this video, I want to walk through some of those scenarios and talk about it, and hopefully, give some tips to help prevent it from happening to others in the future. The point of this video is not to call anyone out or to make fun of them for being scammed, because I honestly don't think that's helpful at all. Instead, I think it's much more productive to use situations like this as opportunities to potentially learn from, and to also realize that it only takes a temporary lapse of judgment for someone to fall for a scam like this. It could honestly happen to anyone, you and I included. Let's get into the video right after a quick word from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by RGB Swap, an emerging PC hardware marketplace that was created for computer enthusiasts to buy and sell parts without the hassle that comes from existing platforms like the ones that we're going to see in this video. OfferUp, Mercari, and even the well-established eBay are all rampant with scams when it comes to PC tech. Not only that, but they have a bunch of other crap you don't even care about most of the time. RGB Swap is here to improve that experience. They have a much better search and filtering system that you can find exactly what you need without having to sort through the irrelevant stuff. They also have lower seller fees compared to other platforms, so sellers are able to keep more of their profits and as a result, pass along lower and more competitive prices to buyers, so everybody wins. Most importantly, RGB Swap facilitates all transactions, ensuring both buyer and seller are protected, because in this day and age, scammers can be on either side of the transaction. With a high Trustpilot score and numerous positive user reviews, you can be at ease buying and selling with RGB Swap. Be sure to check them out the next time you need to buy or sell PC hardware. Links will be in the description below. Alright, like I said, there were a lot of responses to this of people getting scammed, and what I did was anytime someone did respond with a story, I responded back to them asking them more details about it, because I was genuinely curious what about the scam made it seem legit, and I wanted to get their side of the story and also find out if there was any way for them to get their money back or if it was resolved at the end of the day. Let's get right into them. First story we have says, I had to learn it was a scam the hard way, LMAO. I bought a RTX 3060 Ti for $500 and me being the naive idiot I am, don't be so hard on yourself, I didn't realize the card was very obviously screenshots and each picture had a different box of it. Glad to say now I got my hands on an RX 590 for $180 USD, which isn't a bad price considering, how bad all the prices were. Not quite the 3060 I was hoping for, but it works great at the moment. So yeah, one of the things about this is, and I've even done this before, on some of the ads, if the picture looks kind of crappy quality or blurry, like they didn't take it themselves or they pulled it from Google Images, you can run a reverse image lookup on it and see if you can find the picture on there. It doesn't always work out. They might actually have the card in front of them and they maybe took the picture and never just intend to sell it. Reverse image lookup doesn't always work, but it is one way to quickly search if you do feel something is up. So I responded with, did you get your money back? Because I have no idea what they got scammed through, like if this was on a specific app, because most apps, they do have a way to have buyer protection. So if you do get scammed through, let's say eBay, OfferUp, Facebook, Mercari, usually they have some form of buyer protection. But this person responded with, nope, I paid through Cash App, so no money back guarantee. Which I have seen this a lot, and it's even happened to me when I did the previous scam video. What these scammers try to do is they try to get you to pay with some other method outside of the platform that you're using to find their ad in the first place. Cash App, even PayPal, or something like Venmo, things where you choose the options where you don't get a refund, like the friends and family options, or just the gifting options, where once the money is sent to them, they'll transfer it out and you're kind of screwed. At the start of the shortage, I messaged the guy because I needed some DDR3 and he was selling it. We live far away from each other, so he opted to send the stick via the post with prepayment, and after that came everything was good, and he asked me do I want this 1050 and this SSD that was like 80% of health and the price was really good. So I was like, sure. This guy sent me the RAM. I had no problems. And yeah, that was the last time I heard from him. We tried to contact him multiple ways, even got his friends involved, but to no avail. And also, there was another time I got scammed for a GPU where he sent me a broken 960 and then blocked me, lol. So this is a very interesting situation because they had one previous good transaction with this person before. It was for a smaller item. A DDR3 stick of RAM wouldn't be too expensive. I would guess in the $10, $20 price point. Even if someone has sent you something in the past successfully before, you cannot assume that they will always continue to be trustworthy. Always keep your guard up. Unless you know them in person and like you're meeting up with them and exchanging money hand in hand, do not assume and send them money without any form of protection. Please. I have gotten scammed before too for $350 because I didn't really know much about OfferUp. At least now I know what to look for. They were told to pay through Zelle. And I guess if you are a new user to some of these platforms, you may not know. Like the other person could be convincing and saying, oh yeah, Zelle is another way that people usually pay through this platform for. So they said they did that and they never got sent the package. This was 3 weeks ago when this happened. And they said they contacted their bank to file a claim about it 5 days ago. So now they're just waiting to hope to get their money back. They didn't follow up with a response whether or not that worked. I've never used Zelle. I don't use Zelle or Cash App. I just use, for the most part, PayPal and Venmo. For the other ones, if anyone out there, if you've ever gotten scammed and gotten your money back, let me know down in the comments. I'm very curious, like what banks and stuff can really do about, when you get scammed using these apps for sending money. I honestly don't have much hope in them giving you your money back, but I would love to hear success stories from them. I got scammed as well. I tried to get a used 970 for $180. It was DOA. The guy had promised it worked. Don't be stupid and fall into a trap like me. So I asked, was this local or is it like an online marketplace? And they said, of course, Facebook Marketplace. Really sucks. At least I have a cool paperweight. Best Buy is out of GPUs and they only have a GT 1030 right now. Dang. It just won't cut it anymore. It's a long story. So I naturally asked, like, was there any luck with Facebook buyer protection? Because that would be the first thing I did if I got a paperweight graphics card. And they said, yeah, he blocked me on everything, so I never had the chance. Deleted the account he sold it on and was never seen from again. Facebook did nothing. So this is an important thing to talk about because I've heard stories like this as well. Even if you are using an app that claims to have buyer protection, I have heard of success stories of them working, but I've also heard stories like this where they won't get you your money back. Like, not just from Facebook Marketplace, but from OfferUp as well, and even from eBay. I'm not sure what else you can do. The only thing is, like, if this becomes a rampant of enough problem, people should go and email Gamers Nexus en masse about it and complain about it, because then maybe they can look into it, make a video, call out Facebook, and maybe get a response to happen like what they've done with a lot of other companies. But yeah, other than that, I don't know what else to say, which is why I still always prefer meeting up in person. The online stuff is great, but there's only so much you can do to protect yourself. Here's another interesting one because it doesn't have to deal with those platforms, but instead with Instagram. This person says, yeah, I got scammed by an Instagram account that has 40,000 followers, which is quite a bit. I don't know what the account is. They didn't say. They said, I was building my first PC and he scammed me for $300. Yes, his account is still there and he is still scamming. Whether it's Instagram or Twitter or YouTube, it doesn't matter if the person has a ton of followers. They can still scam you. I know we shouldn't think the worst in people, but let's just use me for example. If I wanted to be an evil and malicious person, I could say, hey, I'm trying to sell this graphics card for $500 and people will trust me, right? Because I have a lot of followers or whatever, or I seem genuine on camera. I could probably convince them to send me the money ahead of time with PayPal friends and family so that there's no transaction fees taken out of it, and they would probably trust me. Maybe I should do a video experiment on this. Let me know if you would like to see that. But now that I'm doing this, people will know that's coming up, so maybe I shouldn't do that. But anyways, I could probably scam someone and then completely ignore them after the fact. What can they really do? They could try to put information out there. They can comment on all my videos. Hey, he scammed me out of this. I would just probably block their account from, my YouTube channel so none of the comments pop up. They can probably try to post to Twitter, but if they only have 0 followers or something, if they don't have a following themselves, what can they do to get the information out there that I have scammed them. They could probably hit up a bigger YouTuber like Gamers Nexus or Linus Tech Tips, but even then, I'm not sure if Gamers Nexus or Linus has the capacity or would even see emails like that, because they probably get a ton of fan emails that anything that's not business inquiries, they probably just ignore. So honestly, if an influencer wanted to scam one of their viewers or followers, I think it would be pretty easy. But I guess to reiterate the point, always use buyer protection methods of payments. When it comes to online, your money will literally disappear in a split second, and it could be gone forever. I'll admit at the time, guys were selling their 2080 Ti's for nothing, and I got one for $600, and it did me wonders. But when I went for another one, all 30 series were sold out, but people were for some reason still selling their 2080s and 2080 Ti's for under $700. Usually I can tell someone's a scammer, but I assumed that the person selling it was much rather sell it to me directly, and without thinking, I sent $500 via Zelle and immediately got finessed. Dumbest moment in my life, because I even stopped one of my friends from getting one with the same description. $500, that is a lot of money, especially if you're like a younger viewer out there who doesn't have a job that has like money coming in. $500 and you can't replace it by working more or for like having another birthday come up soon, that sucks. I don't know. This person doesn't seem like they're young at all. They probably recovered from it. I mean, via Zelle, this is something we keep on seeing, you know, Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, friends and family, Venmo. I got scammed out of $1,000 for a GPU, big sad. I was looking for a 30 series card and I found a 3070 for $1K on Facebook Marketplace, and I started talking to the guy. And in the height of the excitement of finding one that seemed legit, which $1,000 at that time, it did seem legit. Like, there were plenty going for that price. I went ahead and paid him through Zelle. Oh, not Zelle again. Not realizing, like the dumb teen that I am, that you can't refund Zelle. And by the time I realized it was a scam, it was too late to cancel the transaction. It is what it is, though. You live and you learn. That is true. You live and you learn. Unfortunately for this person, unlike some of the other people who only got scammed out of like maybe $100, $200, they got scammed out of $1,000, which for a teenager, oh, that's a lot of money. How about this crappy scam that was used on me? People buying broken cards, then buying identical cards for someone on eBay, swapping the internals so the serials, numbers, etc. doesn't change of the previously working card, then reporting it was broken and getting their money back. Basically paying dead card prices for a nice working card, which is something that I have personally been worried about. People did this with Intel CPUs on Amazon. What they would do is they bought like a new Intel CPU, they would delid it and put that lid on like an older, crappier CPU, rebox it up and send it back to Amazon. Another person would buy that CPU, and when they open it and install it in their system, they find out they have like a Sandy Bridge processor. I don't remember what year this was, but this has definitely happened before, and I'm not surprised that it sometimes happens with graphics cards. It is a more extensive scam to try to pull off, but yeah, be wary of that. This really sucks. In this case, this person was the seller and they got scammed, and now they have a dead 980 Ti. Only wish I could have marked the board or something with a marker while I had it apart. Live and learn. It really sucks that this person got scammed because they were the seller. So although they weren't scammed out of money, they were scammed out of a good working graphics card. But huge lesson here. If you're to sell something and you are as paranoid as I am, or if you got ripped off like a person like this in the past, maybe put a small mark somewhere on the graphics card, either PCB, the shroud, or something, so that you can know and identify the part if it is shipped back to you and something like this happens, because then you can instantly know and have proof that they sent you back something that was not the original item. I'm 14 and saved up for 2 years to get a PS4 so I could play some modern games, and I got scammed because I didn't know about these kinds of people. I lost $250 because he said Cash App would save me and him money, which it is true. You save both people money. Well, it's more of you save the seller money, but because the seller saves money, then they can lower the price for you, really. But yeah, so I sent him the money and he took the money and ran. It's sad that people in the world are like this, which I agree. It is sad that people are scamming other people out of their hard-earned money. And in this case, it really does suck because this was a younger viewer. You know, they said they were 14. When you are a lot younger and you don't have as much experience being on all these different platforms and using all these apps to like send money and things like that, you're more naive and you are more vulnerable to getting scammed. And $250, I would imagine, to a 14-year-old is a lot of money. To me, that would have been a ton of money, you know, not having a job at that age. It's a lesson learned early on in life, and hopefully, you know, they won't get scammed again in the future. Right before the plague, I'm guessing they mean the pandemic. Right before the plague really hit, I purchased an RX 580 8GB from OfferUp for a decent price, and I received a 4GB model. Okay, so they didn't get exactly what was described, but I don't know if I would call this a full-on scam. It was just item not listed as described. It could have also not have been intentional. The person might not have known. They said they messaged him but didn't proceed with any action. It was still better than my R9 280 scammers, man. So yeah, they still got an RX 580 at the end of the day. It wasn't the 8GB model, which the price difference from those varies. I don't know how much they paid, but for them, it seemed like it was a good enough deal to still keep and not try to get a refund. Someone else replied to this as well, and they said, this happened to me a couple years ago. A-hole was selling a GTX 1060 6GB, twice telling me for sure it was. So this person messaged and tried to confirm, like, is this for sure a 6GB 1060? But I received a 3GB instead. The sticker was missing on it, and honestly, I didn't expect it too much. Really learned that day that some people are more than happy to lie, steal, and cheat you out of your money right to your face with no embarrassment at all. What I'm curious about is what happened in the messages after the fact, or even if they tried to message the seller at all saying, hey, you actually sent me a 3GB one when you said it was 6GB. I don't know if there's any lesson learned for this one because they did everything right. They actually got the card, so they weren't fully scammed. They were only kind of tricked into a not as described product. So just be wary about that. Honestly, I don't have any tips against that unless you just want to do the full refund if this was like through eBay or something and say, hey, they didn't send me the right card. But as you saw in some of these comments, when you're desperate enough for a graphics card, even though it's not the exact thing that you wanted, if it's better than what you had, you may not have much choice and might just end up keeping it because, you know, it was priced decently. Kind of sucks though, being lied to. This person bought a 3080 off eBay and got scammed. Spent $2,000. That is peak pandemic prices right there. Didn't realize it was coming from Russia because for some reason it said US. They then said that the person switched, waited 6 months, and got rocks in the mail. Big L's. Holy. Getting... If I didn't get my graphics card within the next like 1 or 2 weeks, I would have opened up an eBay or PayPal claim like right away. They have a window where they have to like provide a tracking number and stuff like that. And even then, you know, depending on when the tracking number says it finally gets delivered, you can use that all as proof to get your money back from eBay because again, they're pretty good with siding with the buyer. I'm not sure if this person got a refund or not. They didn't say. I would hope so. $2,000 is a lot of money to be scammed out of. I was getting a 1080 for a fairly decent price and he kept shipping it to random places. About 2 weeks later, I get the card and I'm excited to put it in the computer. When booting it up, it turned on and no signal. Took it to the repair shop and they said they couldn't download drivers on it. Now I'm stuck with the card. I would assume that if they took it to a repair shop, hopefully the repair shop was legit and actually knew what was going on. And they were able to diagnose that it was indeed a problem with the card and not just like some goofy, weird PC error that could have been troubleshooted. But they did it through PayPal. But they did it the no tax way and they lost all their money. And since they're still a kid and don't have a job, this was very hard for them. We're going to reiterate it again. When you are paying for something like this, do not try to circumvent the system by using methods that are feeless and that do not protect you. Use the goods and service when it comes to PayPal anyway. Alright, so that's going to wrap up for this video. I hope you found it either helpful or insightful in one way or another. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Which one of these scam situations you thought was either the most convincing or the most elaborate or the most surprising. I was actually surprised by some of these stories and I learned a thing or two from this. So hopefully you all did too. Do you think any of these scams you would have fallen for yourself? I think like the one specifically where the person switched out the graphics card or potentially switched it out. We don't know for sure, but where they switched it out with essentially a dead graphics card and sent it back and called the seller a scammer. That I think could have easily happened to me. So from now on, I'm going to be looking out for things like that and protecting myself by either taking pictures or video beforehand of it working and with the details of like a mark or scratch that I made on it. But yeah, definitely want to hear your thoughts on all of this, and I want to thank you all as always for watching and for continuing to support the channel. I want to thank the channel members, as always, for their above and beyond support. Be safe out there, and I will see you all down in the comments, as well as in the next stream and or video. Bye. Oh yeah, and if you've been seeing me wear these shirts in the videos and streams and you've been interested in them, this is going to be the next merch launch, which is almost ready to go. That should be launching soon, so be on the lookout for that. I really like this design. We got both Team Red and Team Green in there. We got the graphics cards. Definitely a lot of time went into making this merch happen, so hope you all like it once it does launch. But okay, now the video is going to end now.